what's next on the Patreon list? Okay. Dear Robin, if you haven't yet, please review the entire Read or Die series and delay the release just in time for my birthday, which is August 10th. Also, I can do a bit where things go dark and I do a creepy laugh and a sack of coins appears with a note attached that says, Read or Die, please. Thanks again, David Shepard. Well, now everything just makes sense around here. And thank you, David, for your amazing generosity towards our production. So, what's Read or Die? I'm assuming paper. And books. Lots and lots of books. Before we start the review, a little background in regards to me in this series. I, for the longest time, never really saw this show, but had seen a few AMVs and clips from the show. If anything, this was my very first clip I have ever seen from the show.
20 papers, that's $2, plus tip.
Gee, Johnny, I don't have a dime. Sorry.
Didn't ask for a dime. $2. $2. Cash.
I assumed correctly that this girl named Yomiko Reedman is the main character, but instantly became confused when I chose to watch the Read or Die TV version first before watching the OVA. See, usually the TV version of the show is actually the product the anime studio was aiming for, as they would traditionally restart what they set up in the OVA version. For example, Tenchi Muyo was an OVA series where it starts off with Tenchi encountering Ryoko after she was accidentally released from her cave imprisonment. But in the TV version, Tenchi Universe, Tenchi meets Ryoko randomly outside laying on a rock, for some reason, while Washu was the one trapped in a cave. And then everyone just magically appears from outer space at the same time, at the same place, in Tenchi in Tokyo. How many times can they restart the same show? So going on that knowledge, I started with what I assumed was the finished product before starting with the OVA. And let's just say, it was an interesting experience for me. I was wondering where Yomiko was when encountering these other characters, only to learn there's more to this franchise than I thought. Now let's try to talk about this show as basic as possible, cause there is a lot that goes down on this show. And please note that I'm basing my review after watching the series and reading the manga, but not the light novels, because there's at least 13 of them out there, and I don't really read light novels. I'll be analyzing each anime and manga series without spoiling any details till we get to the extended part of the review, so allow me to try to do my best to describe what Read or Die is all about. Believe me, I can go on for hours with this, but I want to keep this as short as possible. Keyword try. First, let's quickly address the manga series Read or Die, a 4-volume series featuring a bibliophile secret agent named Yomiko Reedman. She's assigned in this series to hunt down a mysterious library located somewhere near a school that trains supernatural students based on their ranks. Kinda like Baka no Test, but mixed with Sky High. So she's assigned to be a teacher at the school to locate the library, but finds herself stuck in the middle of a prejudice war between the B-ranked students and the A-ranked students. Will Yomiko stand up for her students while trying to do her job? And who is this Donnie fellow she keeps remembering? The manga introduces us to the Read or Die elements. We have two different divisions known as the British Empire and the Dokusensha of China, wanting to one-up the other and be the true influence of the world. Yomiko serves the British Library and has to face up against a former agent who now works for the Dokusensha named Ridley, who may know more about Donnie's whereabouts and what the British Library really expects from their agents. This is an interesting series that would later on influence the OVA, but doesn't really follow the same story, mainly because the OVA kinda convinces us that the villain's reveal in the manga doesn't really count. The OVA Read or Die is a 3-episode series taking place during a time where the British Empire still had a major influence over the world thanks to their grand immortal leader known as the Gentleman. Through years of research and development, the British Library has discovered numerous ways to not only prolong someone's life, but also master cloning anyone from any decade. This kind of research has been breached numerous times by the Dokusensha and a third party forming a terrorist group known as IJIN. Yomiko Reedman is given a mission from the gentleman himself to collect certain books from the library to protect from Aijin, while being assisted by a mercenary for hire named Drake Anderson and a mysterious secret agent known as Nancy Makuhari, aka Miss Deep. Miss Deep, because she has the ability to pass through any solid matter as deep as she wants.
I don't mean, that's say no more.
Anyways, what started off as an interesting action show with a bubbly lead ends with a few twists and dark themes that really affect you, but not as much as the TV series in my opinion. The TV series Read or Die takes place shortly after the OVA, but doesn't star our usual hero Yomiko. In fact, the show mostly takes its influence from a spin-off series known as Read or Dream. It's a 4-volume manga series starring 3 sisters who can also manipulate paper named Michelle Chung, Maggie Mui, and Anita King. The manga mostly features their days as detectives solving cases with their powers. While I would say the TV series is almost a sequel to this manga, the anime changes the relationship the girls have with the Dokusensha, as well as how they actually met. You could say the TV show got the same treatment as the OVA with the Read or Die manga, just taking elements and influences rather than copy everything. The Read or Die TV series starts off with a well-renowned author named Nenene Sumiragawa going to Hong Kong for the filming of her novel that made her a celebrity. But when her life is threatened by terrorists, her escorts, coincidentally being the Paper Sisters, take it upon themselves to protect Nenene from any danger that lies ahead. At the same time, Nenene is looking for her dear friend who just happens to be Yomiko Reedman, but has been missing following the events that took place after the OVA. Will Nenene and the Paper Sisters ever find Yomiko? What does the British Library and Dokusensha have to do with any of this? As you can tell, there is a lot going on in this franchise, but in short, I say it's all worth the effort. I didn't know what to expect from a show about women who can use paper to fight their opponents, but I wasn't expecting so many dark and existential themes. While you could obviously tell who the bad guys were in the manga and OVA, the TV series makes you question who the real villain is. Are what our heroes doing considered right, or should they step back and see what their opponents really have in store for humanity? It's a topic I'll address further in the spoilers section, but needless to say, it's an interesting experience that is carried out well with our leading characters. These ladies are incredibly strong, both physically and mentally. They don't just rely on their supernatural abilities to solve their cases, but you see them carefully strategize their next move as well as learn everything they need to know about their opponent. How do the Paper Sisters take down a mad genius who can disable their abilities using only sound? Not going to spoil the details, but it's an incredibly smart idea. Even when Yomiko has to fly a paper plane, that's a thing, she has to teach Anita how to balance it just like her sister Maggie would. And even at times when the odds were seriously against them, their will to keep fighting is just unbreakable, especially from my favorite character, Nenene. Even though she doesn't have any powers, she's not going to let any other person persuade her choices. Even when it's a jealous writer threatening her with bombs or an agency trying to brainwash her, her will is far too strong to be taken down, and mainly because she never wants to give up who she is. It's a strong characteristic that perfectly clashes with the villains constantly wanting obedience and control, a topic again we'll address later in this video. At this point, I'm gonna wrap up the quick review with the highest recommendations. With its interesting action techniques, wonderful animation done by JC staff, and dark themes that may even have you questioning your own morals, the series is definitely worth your time. Not to mention that the English dub for the show was brilliantly written for the time, and even by Genion. In some other dubs like Azumanga Daioh, whenever students have to learn English, the translations would change it to Spanish or something else. But cleverly enough, Read or Die has the students learn Japanese instead.
Correct. Very good.
We wonder why other dubs never did that before. But then we get to my favorite line and one of the smartest jokes in the show.
You can contact us through John Woo.
John Woo?
The pigeon. We named him.
I had to pause that scene and give it a slow clap. Please tell me you guys get that reference. If you don't, just watch Nostalgia Critic's review of Face Off. Unfortunately, it's not easy finding the DVDs or even watch it online on legal sources due to licensing issues, so if you really want to find this series, the only thing you can really rely on is Google, eBay, and Amazon. No matter what, this is definitely worth your time if you haven't seen Read or Die. Alright, if you want to watch it without spoilers, now is the time to stop this video, or at least skip ahead if you wish to support this channel. With that said, let's discuss the villains of Read or Die. Well, we know from history, the British monarchy really thought they owned the world. No matter what land they traveled through and set an establishment in, they felt everyone around them had to conform to their standards. Throughout the passage of time, and with many wars, the British monarchy loosened up as many countries decided to fight back and defend their culture. What if that never happened, though? What if the countries fought back, but the British monarchy didn't really give a crap about anyone else's cultures and kept telling people how to live their lives? You'd get the British Empire from Read or Die. In the manga Read or Die, they start off basic enough by giving Yomiko her orders to find a mysterious library. But as we reach the end and think Ridley here was the bad guy, it's actually the British Empire being guided by Agent Joker. So Yomiko's boyfriend, who was also a paper agent named Donnie, was first assigned this mission only to discover the ramifications of obtaining the book and what it could do to the inhabitants in the area. He reports that it's not possible to get the book, to which the Joker doesn't like this answer and orders him to give Yomiko a reason to kill him. What? Yomiko was pushed to kill her own boyfriend because he cared more for the lives of others rather than the benefit of the Empire. That's just sick and heartless. Then the OVA airs, to which the Empire is seen more as a James Bond hero station rather than the selfish bastards we learned to hate in the manga. It gives an uneasy feeling though, especially if you watch the TV series as well. This is exactly what they want. Perfect agents getting the job done while silencing those who would try to disrupt their system. To which one will argue the IJin came into being because they were tired of the Empire's selfish behavior. We know that the Dokusensha formed their society at first to retaliate, only to escalate their goals to basically one-up the Empire. But the IJin were planning a global genocide and then formed their own perfect world. One without the British Empire governing the world. In the end, it's the Read or Die TV that really seals the deal with this diabolical empire. Dokusensha does indeed make an appearance as a base that again wants to take down the British Empire by any means necessary. But the tactics they use are still nothing compared to what the British Library accomplishes. They can manipulate a person's memory, genetically recode someone's body to turn them into supernatural agents, speed up and even freeze someone's age in time, and even take any person they desire to fit their goals. One of our main characters, named Junior, discovers that he was not only kidnapped seconds after he was born, but it was all to become the perfect subject for the Empire's glorious ruler to return with. As in, regardless of what he wants for his own future, it won't even matter because his persona will fade and the gentleman will be reborn using his body. Wasn't that just horrible? Even with all of these disgusting acts these people perform, it really affects me just how they think our heroes are doing more damage to mankind than they are. Their ultimate plan is worldwide order once the gentleman is reborn. The system they've been crafting for years will eventually overtake the minds of every person in the universe, and all would obey the Empire. No more wars, no more poverty, no more higher and lower classes, just the gentleman telling you what you can and can't do for the rest of your existence. By their point of view, any kind of interference is deemed selfish because they're trying to give everyone in the world an equal opportunity. You wouldn't have to worry about your future with the gentleman guiding you to your ultimate purpose. By that perspective, it really would seem like our heroes are selfish. But then Nenene puts down the cold hard truths into their faces.
You're defacing the free will of all mankind, and you call us arrogant?
You haven't been listening. It's necessary for all mankind to share the same ideas in order to attain an everlasting peace.
Peace? That's just semantics. You're crushing your opposition, making your takeover of mankind as convenient as possible. If all of you are of such strong character, why don't any of you stand up for yourselves? No matter how you dress it up, all you're doing is running away from who you are. You're creating a fantasy because you're afraid of the real world. Are all of you so weak that you forfeit your identity to this thing? Just grow up!
Look, as ideal as it may seem for the Empire to want perfect order and equal footing for all, Nenene points out that it could actually lead to humanity's downfall. These people follow their leader hoping he'll solve all of their problems, but it's downright cowardice to expect everyone around them to change to meet their ideal future. The human spirit is unpredictable and ever more evolving. Reality may seem scary and overwhelming, but it should be tackled like you're facing a challenge for yourself rather than just running away hoping someone like your parents can save you. And that's pretty much how they see their leader, a father figure who has all of the answers and has the means to take care of them. But part of childhood is to spread your wings and create a life for yourself. So many inspirational people have come and gone, and the gentleman was supposed to go when his time came. Leonardo da Vinci had his time, Benjamin Franklin had his time, Winston Churchill had his time. The gentleman is past his time, and these people are too scared to let him go. Yes, he may have given the British Empire several wonderful ideas and structures to live by, but that's all he's supposed to do. Take his learnings and move forward with it while embracing what the next great mind has to offer. Nenene is considered to be another great mind to the Empire standards, but they eerily suggest that she is to submit to their new system and allow them to brainwash her so she could conform to the standards and write what they approve of. To which she starts to write another novel just in case such a scenario does happen, so that a part of her real self can still exist in this new world. Instead of embracing her words, they'd rather control her and erase who she is, and that thought terrifies me, that the character Nenene that we got to know and love and look up to would no longer exist mentally and just become a puppet to the Empire. And just when you think it's all talk and her will can easily defy their power, we see proof of their technology through the three sisters. We watch the show convinced that they found each other on Christmas Eve and decided on that fateful day to become a family. But then we discover that their memories are nothing but pre-arranged fabrications by the Dokusencha, to which they use that technology they stole from the Empire. Not to mention, when Anita goes back to her school and finds her old friend, we see the Empire got to that area first and manipulated everyone's memories, meaning that the person Anita got to know and the memories she formed with everyone there are all gone. It's as if her real friends are dead, and these are all that remain. That's just terrifying to me. To put this in a much simpler way, the British Empire's intentions are very similar to the homeworld gems of Steven Universe and even the Sovereign from Guardians of the Galaxy 2. They have the means and technology to create their image of a perfect world, and with their sources of cloning and genetic recoding, they could bring to life any person they mold and program them for a certain purpose. There would be no free will, just birth, this is what you're programmed for, praise our glorious leader, and death. And to say if you were to rebel or couldn't perform a certain task right, they would either dispose of you like they did with Donnie, or even reprogram you to do your job better, as they try to do with Nenene. Something wrong with you, kid? That's okay, we can always fix you. Doesn't that thought just creep you out? As much as you want to understand where the Empire is coming from and how their idea for world peace is comprehensible, I, for one, cannot side with such a selfish desire, especially from a man who flat out doesn't want to die. I am who I am today because of my choices, and I made them through my own will, as well as listen to the wills of others. If an empire wants to stop us from having free will in order to conform to their idea of world peace, I would rebel, just like Nenene, Yomiko, and the Paper Sisters. If your freedom of choice is taken away and you can't strive to be whatever you want to be, then quite frankly, what's the point of living? Well, that was an interesting thesis, but that's pretty much what this show did to me. It made me question my morals and whether or not I agree with the Empire or with the rebels. I could go on forever over the philosophy and moral standards this show offers, but I really don't want this video to go on forever. If you watched this show or even spoiled yourself with the review, please tell me in the comment section how you feel about the British Empire. I have to say, for a show that showcases a bunch of smart characters in an obscure environment, they at least had a worthy opponent to face. I came in expecting a cute show featuring a neat idea with paper fighting, only to leave with so many thoughts and questions about myself as a person. When an anime or any other story format can affect you this way, you know you have a keeper. This is an anime I can watch over and over again, and mainly because of the brilliant characters. If you're in the mood for a smart show, full of memorable characters, and a story stepping into dark thoughts, I cannot recommend enough. Read or Die. Also, I seriously thought with Anita's flashback to a burning library, I honestly thought she hated books because books killed her parents. Seriously, that would have been like the cherry on top of this book sundae, but I digress.
Look, there she goes, that girl is so peculiar. I wonder if she's feeling well.
With a dreamy, far-off look,
And her nose stuck in a book. What a puzzle to the rest of us is Belle.
Butterfly in the sky, I can go twice as high. Take a look, it's in a book, a reading rainbow.
Wow. This is fascinating. People used to actually use these things before the internet.
Look, I'm gonna level with you guys. I called you here to kill all of you. Reginald, look, you had this coming for a while. You all have done various things to earn my disdain over the past few years, but chief among them was Yvonne. Yeah, Yvonne, I know. You killed my gerbil, so how can I be any kinds of happy about that?
Anything you can do, I can do better. I can do anything better than you.
Oh, you can.
Yes, I can.
No, you can't.
Yes, I can.
No, you can't.
Yes, I can. Yes, I can.
Hey, Snape kills Dumbledore.
Thanks everybody for watching our review. If you wish to keep up to date with Anime America events, be sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and even Tumblr. If you want to support this channel, be sure to click on the notification bell to keep up with our video uploads, as well as liking this video and sharing it on any social media platform you choose. If you wish to support us financially, we have a Patreon page with numerous rewards to fit your budget, as well as sell posters on Store Envy and t-shirts on Teespring. Don't forget to subscribe to Anime America for more awesome reviews and top 10 lists. We also have a sister channel called Pop Spectrum, where we review anything in pop culture. Thanks again for watching, and stay tuned to Anime America.